Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Ipca Laboratories Q4 FY21 earnings call hosted by DAM Capital Advisors Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Nitin Agarwal from DAM Capital Advisors Limited. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Hi, thanks Malika. Good morning everyone and a very warm welcome to this Q4 FY21 earnings call for Ipca Laboratories hosted by DAM Capital Advisors Private Limited. On the call today, representing the Ipca management team, Mr. A.K. Jain, Joint Managing Director, and Mr. Harish Kamath, Company Secretary and Senior Corporate Counsel. I will hand over the call to Mr. Jain to make some opening comments, and then we will open it for question and answers. Please go ahead, Mr. Jain.
Thanks, Nitin. Good morning to all participants, and thanks for taking out time and joining us for Q4 FY21 earnings call. Today's earnings call and discussions and answer given may include forward-looking statement based on current business expectations that must be viewed in conjunction with risk that pharmaceutical businesses faces. Our actual or future financial performance may differ from what is projected and perceived. You may use your own judgment on the information given during the call. Q4 business performance has not been in line with our expectations. Domestic formulation business just delivered around 1% business growth for the quarter. Last financial year, we had hydroxychloroquine formulation business sales of almost around 37 crore for the quarter in domestic market. In view of significant demand, post then President Mr. Donald Trump announcing it to be a game changer. Q4 FY21, HCQS formulation business was around 20 crore. The base effect of lower domestic formulation business has impacted almost around 4% of domestic growth. We have also observed lower domestic formulation business in last 10 days of March compared to normal. There could be two possible reasons for this. One is lower stocking by the wholesalers due to March year ending. Or second could be possibly our field staff incentive linked to their annual budget. In this financial year, they have not earned much. There are some of the businesses were pushed by them to the next financial year. We can collaborate this by the opening first few days business in the current financial year. Ex-hydroxychloroquine, our pain therapy, which accounts for almost around 50% of the business, has recorded almost around 9% business growth over previous financial year. Our cardiovascular business in domestic market has recorded almost around 6% business. Similarly, the newer therapies, which are like CNS, 11% growth, Uro 7% growth, Derma has given almost around 23% kind of growth, and Ophthal has given almost around 61% kind of growth. Even Nutra has grown by around 43%, but these are smaller businesses. And we have seen that good revival overall in the business. But some of the therapies like anti-malarials, antibacterials, cough and cold, they continue to show decline for the quarter and also for the whole of the financial year due to COVID impact. We have improved our overall gross margin during the quarter Q4 to 72% as against 68% in Q4 last financial year. This improvement is attributed to superior product mix for the quarter and overall prudent procurement to keep the cost in check in spite of all-round increases in the prices in the market. Overall, FY21 has been a strong year for the company. We have achieved a consolidated business of around 5,482 crore with 16% growth. Our consolidated EBITDA is at 1,566 crore with 50% growth. Our captive-backed formulation business has improved to around 2,195 crore, 60% of overall formulation business of around 3,574 crore, as against 56% last year of around 1,760 crore for last financial year, out of 3,130 crore formulation business what we did last year. So from 56%, the integrated business has moved to almost around 61%. This has been the key strength that company has been working to improve our delivery performance and keep the cost in check. Our FY21 performance has also impacted overall positively by almost around 365 crore additional business we have done during the financial year on account of chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine business, which includes both API as well as formulation business. We have done on formulation side almost around 185 crore of additional business. On API side, that figure is almost around 180 crore for the financial year. COVID-19 has posed a tough challenges for the financial year due to supply disturbance, logistic issues, labor availability for production, field staff sitting at home for a considerable time, healthcare challenges of medical fraternity, as well as uncertainties faced by us. We could still deliver a strong performance during the financial year due to dedication of our staff, support we received throughout the year from our vendors and customers and medical fraternity. Above all, our integrated business capabilities help us to deliver better. Having given the small brief, I would now like to open the floor for question answers.
So shall we start with the question and answer session?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1 now.
Malika, can you start the Q&A?
Yes, the first question is from the line of Rajesh Kothari from Alpha Accurate Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Sir, is it possible for you to give a little bit more color in terms of, how do you see the export opportunity? I think 6 months back also we were talking about it. Your Devas Capex update, and do you see more opportunities over next 2-3 years?
Overall, if you look at our business guidance for the current financial year, we feel that because we did a lot of substantial amount of your additional business last year on account of chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, overall business growth will be little lower, but we are confident to achieve a business growth of almost around 9 to 10% in next financial year. We feel that our domestic formulation business will be very strong in the current financial year, and overall, we expect a business growth of almost around 16 to 18% in domestic formulation. Our promotional branded business, which we do in the rest of the world market, is expected to grow almost around 13 to 15% in next financial year. Domestic API will show a decline because of some kind of additional business what we did last year for supply of some API to the local company for their export to the US. So that was an additional business. So that there will be a domestic API business will decline by almost around 28% in the financial year. Institutional business with last year business has grown up almost around 95-96%. From that base, we are expecting a 5% improvement overall business growth in institutional business. And as far as generic business is concerned, that also include a lot of one-time business we did on hydroxychloroquine. So overall business growth on generic side is likely to be around 5%. In API business will have a lower growth of around 10% overall. So overall we expect around 9 to 10% business growth in spite of higher base due to the exceptional business what we did last year. And broadly our margin guidelines would remain that our EBITDA could be almost around 25 to 25.5% in next financial year. As far as Dewas is concerned, work is delayed because of COVID situation again. Last 2 months, practically oxygen is not available for fabrication. And since the land which we bought, there we had almost around 50,000 square feet beautiful building which we converted into a COVID center, almost around 258 bedded COVID center to help the domestic, the local administration to win the challenge over COVID in that particular area and we have provided also oxygen plant there and all. But on downside, what we faced that there was a big rumor in construction worker that COVID center is coming up, and almost the site had almost around 300 workers and all they disappeared because of that. So the contractor was facing a tough time again to bring the construction worker. And I think the whole project work is getting delayed by 3 to 4 months because of all these kind of developments. So Dewas maybe in the third quarter end or fourth quarter it may go towards the installation now in view of all these kind of scenarios.
Great, sir. Thanks for that update. I'll come back in queue. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, would request you to rejoin the queue. The next question is from the line of Aditya Khemka from InCred Asset Management Company. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. Good morning, Ajit sir. Ajit sir, on the domestic business, domestic formulation, first of all, in your opening remarks, you gave a number as to this was the sales number for CQP and HCQS put together throughout FY20 related to COVID. Can you repeat that number for me? I missed it.
Overall, hydroxychloroquine formulation business was around 151 crore. That is an additional business we did. And hydrochloroquine business, formulation business was around 34 crore. So overall 185 crore business we did, which is exceptional last year. Domestic. And on API side, almost 137 crore. And on API, which is a chloroquine business, and hydroxychloroquine API business was around 43 crore. So 180 crore. So overall exceptional business was around 365 crore overall for the year. And as we have, I think in first quarter, last quarter of the financial year, that hydroxychloroquine business for the quarter was almost around 37 crore. As against that, we did in this quarter around, I think, around 20 crore business. So it's down by almost around 17 crore. That's the overall number. And that has impacted almost around by base, because of base effect, that has impacted 4% of the growth for the domestic formulation business in this particular quarter.
Understood. And sir, your guidance for next year's EBITDA margin was about 25%, is it? Or how much did you guide?
Yeah, 25%, yeah.
25. Okay, thank you. And so now, sir, just understanding this particular quarter's gross margin, so I see that your domestic business has struggled in this quarter, and that's understandable, but your gross margins has still substantially gone up from what you reported in 3Q and 2Q. What led to the expansion in gross margin, sir?
Let's say it's a better product mix which we have sold in the current financial year. Like say lower margin business like anti-malarial, antibacterials and all that, that business, even cough and cold, they were at a lower side. And secondly, we did very good business in promotional market in this quarter, almost around 32% kind of growth. All these businesses are with much better overall margin. And also in marketplace, a lot of prices have moved up. But as far as we are concerned, we could still buy a lot of APIs and all that at our intermediates at a much cheaper prices because of the contracts with the buyers on a little medium-term contract. So our overall cost on that account has not moved up overall. And that kind of benefit we are currently also enjoying. Maybe in the first half of the year, we will continue to enjoy those kind of benefits. And therefore, we don't expect, in spite of significant rise in the API prices and intermediate prices, that may not impact us that much. But the packing material prices, because of commodity rises and solvent prices and these kind of things, will have very, very small, because their consumption to the overall consumption may not be that significant. There the prices have moved up significantly.
Understood. And so last question from my side, on the sales and marketing expenses that you report as a breakup of your other expenses. So I can see in FY20 it was about 212, 213 crores. Could you give us a sense of what that number was in FY21?
I think we have saved almost around 90 crore of expenditure on account of marketing in last financial year, current financial year.
And as we go forward, you obviously would expect this to come back.
Yeah, some of these costs, a majority of this cost is expected to come back.
Thank you, sir. I'll get back in the queue, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kunal Dhamesha from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my question. Sir, can you provide our capacity utilization at various plants in terms of API and formulation?
Overall, on formulation side, we have still good amount of capacity, so there is nothing to worry as far as, and we are not really looking for much of the capacity expansions on formulation side currently, except putting some packing lines at our SEZ plant in view of our future pipeline of products which are coming there. So except that, there are no proposal to expand overall capacities on formulation side. We still have good amount of capacities on formulation side. As far as API is concerned, yes, we are definitely running with capacity constraint, and continuous basis we keep on doing some kind of incremental the changes and all that, which are resulting in little higher capacities and all that. But I would say that we are still working on almost around API side or almost around 90% kind of capacities utilizations currently. And we definitely need capacities, and those capacities will be available only maybe around on the end of the third quarter or fourth quarter as far as Dewas is concerned. But at Ratlam, we are some kind of work is going on, and that should get over by the end of, I think, second quarter, completely validated, and also those capacities could be available.
So Dewas, we are saying quarter 3, quarter 4 is the installation, and then the capacity could come online maybe 6 months later?
Yeah, then the validations and all that will start, your stability and other things, and then by the time it get inspected and all, it will be almost around, a lot of inspections are required. So it's a 1 year overall journey, and real business, by the time we'll start producing intermediates here and start giving it to our Ratlam site, and then increase the overall output from there. So, but in real terms, this plant API business to start will take still maybe around 9 months to 1 year after the capacities are installed.
Sure. And with the intermediates, etc., getting supplied from Dewas plant, do we expect significant structural improvement in the gross margin from the current level in quarter 4?
No, intermediates we are already producing of some of those products, so it's only the additional capacity will increase. It will not have additional margin increase as such.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. And I'll get back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abdul Puranwala from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. So just in continuation to the previous participant, so as per your guidance on the API side, which is of 10% for FY20. So if we adjust that for the one-off sales what we had in FY21, so that translates into a growth of about 21%. However, the new capacity is stated to come only in FY23. So what gives us this confidence of achieving this 10% year-on-year growth in this API business?
Some of the bottleneck issues were already resolved. So we have considered all those aspects and then looked into overall kind of business growth. So API we are confident of around 10% kind of growth.
Sure. And so what would be your CapEx plans for the next 2 years?
I think next year we will be spending almost, because Devas is a major project which will be there. So overall, and right now only the civil construction kind of work, that too not fully completed. So overall Devas will have around 250 to 280 crore kind of capex, and there will be other than that almost around 300 crore kind of capex. 150 crore to 200 crore is our normal capex, and some kind of additional capex is there at Ratlam site and others. So overall, it could be 550 to 600 crore kind of capex in current financial year.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikhil Upadhyay from Securities Investment Management. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity, and congrats on a great year last year. Sir, 2-3 questions. One is on your the growth assumptions which you have given for next year, the expectations. I just want to understand on the promotional and on the institutional side, if you can just help me understand the kind of growth, because on institutional, if I remember, there was some additional business which we had done in Q3. So which you were expecting that may not repeat. But on 365 crore and all across quarters, our commitment or our discussion has been that 400 crore is the maximum size where we see the institutional can remain. So if you can just help me understand what gives you the confidence of sustaining around 5-10% growth. And similarly on promotional, do you see that because the base is very low of last year and a lot of the patients are coming back to the market or coming to the clinics, which is giving us this 13-15% kind of growth, just to understand it better?
That's the overall broad assumption, because by and large COVID situation has subsided in various continents overall, and even the countries like CIS, the cases are low, so businesses are becoming normal. French-speaking African market, another business the area which we have, that has given even last year good growth, and they are in much better shape. So overall, that also will contribute, and other geographies which were impacted by COVID, that also will contribute to the overall good promotional business. So looking into all that aspect, we have given that kind of growth projection for overall through the promotional market. Yeah.
But on generic contrary, your assumptions are quite low of 5%. But I would have thought, because we had issues with UK and we were expanding markets in Europe, and we were quite positive that as we expand, the growth in Europe can sustain significantly. Vis-a-vis that, our growth estimate of 5% looks pretty low. So if you can just help me understand, generic, where do you see this disconnect? Because the issues were much higher in generic markets, regulated markets last year.
This is mainly because, let's say, base figure has a lot of hydroxychloroquine formulation business, which may not be there in current financial year. On that base, then we are given a projection of 5%, is also on account of overall much better business we may do in Europe in current year.
Okay. But X of HCQS?
Another area which may impact is we have a lot of businesses related to the paracetamol kind of exports, where the prices have moved from 300, 350 to almost around 900 level. It may take some months to subside. Still maybe around 3-4 months more to subside. Right now, it's a downward trend has started, but not that much. Some supplies have started easing of the materials there, chemicals which they use, but major chemicals which paraminophenol, the supplies are still not eased, and therefore the prices are high. And that may impact some kind of business on European generics on that account. So all that aspect we have considered, and base effect is also there because of hydroxychloroquine formulations which is there. So all that we have considered and then given the 5% kind of growth.
Okay, just one last thing. So if we remove HCQS and one-off issues of paracetamol, the underlying business for the rest of the products where we had brought in changes in UK and entered market, so X of these one-off issues, is the business growing at 15-18%, or what's the business growth trajectory?
Yes. That's the kind of growth is being achieved regularly.
Okay. And lastly, on API, we've seen some drop. So on the export side, domestic side, you explained. On the export side, is it so the sartan price drop has also played some role here, or?
Yeah, certainly, yes. Certain prices has definitely dropped, and that also has played the role.
Okay. And how do you see over 3 to 5 years? Because the way we are seeing in terms of volume, the way most API players are talking of expansion in capacities and demand coming very strongly, any inquiry levels or any softer issues which you can help me understand how you are looking at things and how things are improving for us?
API business last 2-3 years has definitely improved and will keep on improving. Demand side is very strong.
Okay. Fine. Thanks. I'll return back to you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chirag Dagli from DSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, can you comment on our portfolio's our API portfolio pricing scenario? How is it by and large?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Dagli. So there is a disturbance coming from your line. Request you to mute your line while the management answers your question.
Let's say pricing side, certain prices are definitely down. And overall, other product portfolios, because of material cost increases, some kind of price increases are there. But overall, if you say what kind of intermediates we are producing overall, the prices increase has not been that significant overall, except like say in artemisinin and all, where the prices from 165 have moved to almost around 250 right now. But we have contracts for $165 for a little longer period of time, so we may not be getting impacted to that extent. And similarly, there are some kind of other intermediate also we are able to get it much cheaper because of our overall medium-term contracts and all. So that may not have much of impact on us.
Okay, sir. That was helpful. And the second question was on any updates on the Nagpur side, sir?
Nagpur side, because of COVID scenario and all, we could not attend to that much on that. And we have already, I think, in a recent time, we have applied for the environmental clearance, and that process will now go on for 5-6 months. So as that process get over and we start getting all the permission, then only we will. So nothing great would happen on grounds on current financial year.
Understood. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charulata Gaidhani from Dalal & Broacha. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, my question pertains to the second wave. In the second wave, are you expecting, how much would be the benefit in pain management for India?
Let's say if you look at the pain scenario, we have been in last 5-6 years, we have been growing by almost around 18% CAGR on pain. And in last financial year also, as far as pain is concerned, our overall growth has been almost around 14%, but that also included hydroxychloroquine. So overall, pain segment has given very good growth. Zerodol as a brand has given almost around 18% kind of growth in this tough situation also in the current financial year. And we expect pain to give much higher growth in current year because of that scenario, and that's what the trend we are currently witnessing in first 2 months of the current year.
Okay, right. That was helpful. My second question pertains to most of the growth in Q4 has come from institutional. So you expect similar growth to continue over the next few quarters?
Let's say if as far as the generic businesses are concerned, by and large, many major except domestic formulation, most of the people have done their budgets and they were significant higher performance compared to the overall their annual targets and all. So overall, because of that also, I feel that the businesses maybe in Q4 is on downside, but you will see return of business in the first quarter of the current financial year.
Okay. And last question, how many MRs do you have? And if you could give any change in the reach that has taken place?
In COVID scenario, we have really not expanded our overall fixed force size, and currently we have almost around 4,000 medical reps currently. And in current year, we are just adding few more reps in your neuropsychiatry and on optal side, which are very small business segment, but they are doing well for us. And some more number of people maybe on derma side we may add, but overall addition of people may not be more than 200 in current financial year. So once the COVID situation is behind us, then we will look for what kind of further restructuring is required to get the domestic market.
Okay. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naresh Suthar from SBI Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Most of my question have been answered. One clarification on the growth guidance. The 9-10% growth guidance, if I remember correctly, first quarter of last year had the majority of SPQS. So is it right to believe that from second quarter onwards, the growth of 9-10% will be more like mid to high teens? The normalization will take apart from second quarter itself?
Let's say first quarter itself, I think first 2 months trend are very significant, and we will see a much better growth. Even after project, they are taking into account the base effect of hydroxychloroquine extra business we did last year. So even that business will be very, very strong. So overall, we are pretty confident that we should be able to achieve almost around 16 to 18% kind of growth. Looking at what kind of numbers we have achieved also in the first 2 months of current year, where the itself will translate into very good growth for the whole year.
No, so my question is more on the overall business. So will it be like second half would be more kind of YOY 20% plus growth, and first half would be kind of 5% kind of growth because of SPQS? That's how I should look at it.
That's not because of SPQS. Let's say in first quarter we did almost around 137 crore business on domestic API, which was an exceptional business. So that will definitely, overall first quarter growth will be very, very low, or maybe having a negative growth in first quarter because domestic your hydroxychloroquine business was there in the first quarter in domestic market. So domestic will still be in a growth in spite of that base. But some of the other things, the other business like say API business will go down. And some of your even institutional business where a lot of hydroxychloroquine formulations were exported. So there you will see some kind of impact. So we may not be able to achieve the overall what kind of turnover we achieved in last year in first quarter. But thereafter business growth will be good.
Understood. Second question is more on the longer term margin trajectory. So in FY20 we did around 20%. Now with the savings of COVID or other things and operating leverage, we have now guiding for FY20 to 25-26%. So now this significant increase over last 2 years have been achieved. So after that, how do you think about the margin trajectory in 2-3 years time? What are the levers you have to improve from here on?
Overall, let's say the formulation side still we have a lot of surplus capacity, so we did not incur much of the capex on that account. So that average operating leverage is still available. Then your overall productivities, last few years we have seen that good amount of MR productivities are moving up, except the current financial year because of COVID that has not moved up. It is little down in current year. So that also will keep on improving, and that will also help in overall maybe in the domestic market and also in international promotional market, both the places. So those productivity expansion will also help in the overall margin. And third is what kind of process changes on API side, what we are continuously working on to improve the reaction efficiencies and all that. That's the continuous exercise to reduce the overall cost on that account. And overall drive of the company towards your migration. That is also helping, and you have seen that our overall the captive back formulation businesses are definitely moving up, and that also help us to improve overall margins and keep cost in control. So these are the things which will keep on improving overall margin for the company for a few more years.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Tushar Manudhane from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So just question, on the API side, you said growth of 10-11% or on a guidance for FY22?
Yeah, domestic API will go down a little bit, but export API will grow. Yeah.
So overall API to grow by 10-11%, is that?
No, not overall. I said export API. Domestic API will go down. Overall API may show around 2% kind of growth.
So 2% kind of a growth. And the EBITDA margin guidance of 25%.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Cinderella Carvalho from Centrum Broking. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question. And so, any update on US FDA? Have you heard anything? Any clarification?
I didn't get your question, please. Yeah.
The update on US FDA, sir. Anything we have heard from the agency?
We are in regular touch with FDA, but since we have your import alert and all that, so probably what we understand from FDA is that there will be physical inspections of the site, and because of COVID scenario, they are not able to visit and inspect. So as far as we are concerned, whatever was required to be done, that has been done, and we are also continuously getting our plants and systems and practices and everything audited from third party, even though that may not be required, but that for our own confidence and all that, we are continuously doing that. And we are confident that once they visit us, hopefully things would be much better for us.
And in terms of sort of domestic growth, if we see the first 2 months, we have seen a very strong growth in the domestic market. How is our expectation versus growth in terms of our portfolio? And any benefits of these COVID scenario have we seen in these first 2 months? And across the globe also, if you could give color, how is the growth in this quarter as we speak?
We don't have overall COVID portfolio in domestic market. That's basically hydroxychloroquine is a drug for rheumatoid arthritis. It was repurposed for the purpose of COVID. It was only the initial period of start of the COVID, the hydroxychloroquine business for your overall business was very, very high because of that initial requirement. But once the other drugs were started coming in the market like favipiravir or remdesivir and all, the overall sale of hydroxychloroquine was lower. And secondly, this is also a very cheap drug. It's not a very expensive drug. Whole treatment happens with this drug less than maybe around 100 rupees or so. So it's a very cheap drug. So it's as such, we don't have as such the COVID portfolio. But in spite of that, in the first 2 months of the current financial year, there is a significant recovery overall in the business, and that may also be because of COVID, because a lot of medical professionals were not able to identify whether it's a COVID case or whether it's a typhoid case or whether it's a malaria case to start with in the rural India and also in the urban India. So a lot of this kind of mix of treatments were given put to the patient till the time identification happens and all that. So overall, your antibacterial sales in the domestic market is also good. There is a good revival of even in the anti-malarial business. cough and cold, which was not performing well, had a significant growth in the recent time. So overall, the portfolios which were declining for the whole of last financial year, suddenly we saw a very good growth coming in that. And also there is a revival in other businesses. And paint portfolio continued to do well, and it's even much higher growth which we are seeing compared to the last financial year. So overall business has been good.
So just relating with the same phenomena, if we say that our domestic core and base business have been growing stronger, and if this similar trend continues, say, over coming 6 months also, do we think that the promotional and all other expenses in relation to the overall business also, this could help us deliver better margins than our guidance?
The margin guidelines we are given based on the, say, overall taking into all those kind of scenario. But if actuals drastically differs from our the overall projections, then probably the margins, the margins would be definitely different. But we have considered all those aspects, like how much of the promotional cost is going to come back, and what kind of your overall 16 to 18% of growth we have projected in domestic market, looking also into the what kind of growth which we are getting in first 2 months of the current year. And it's very difficult to say that what kind of scenario will be there after even in June. It's very difficult to say that, and it's also very difficult to say why so much of antibacterials were selling, why so much of cough and cold and even anti-malarials were selling in current period. So it's difficult. Tomorrow's situation may be a little different also. It's very, but looking into the overall revival of the business, overall our specialty business growth, that's what we have been proceeding more towards the specialty business in the last few years, and overall growth in paint portfolio and cardiac portfolio, we are given that kind of growth projection.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yash Gupta from Angel Broking. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. So my first question, that you have given a domestic growth guidance of 16 to 17%. So sir, how much we are expecting a volume growth and the pricing growth? Is that we are expecting a good pricing growth in FY22?
The pricing growth this year, NLEM products pricing growth is hardly any, even less than 0.5%. So that may not be there. And overall, our prices are normally, the increases are in the range of around 5%. So maybe 5 to 6% price growth on your non-scheduled formulations, and practically zero growth on scheduled formulation, which are price control formulation. So overall, it may not exceed more than 5%.
Okay. And second question, that you have mentioned that we have medium term contract for the raw material. So if this product pricing continue to be for, like, suppose next 6 to 9 months, then also we will going to remain our price contract will be at the same price, or is there any revision in the raw material price?
So prices are applicable only up to the period of contract. So prices will keep on taking into account overall, say, our volume of purchases, and also, so sometimes when your volumes are high, you get much better prices. So that advantage definitely will be there on some of the drugs. And some of the drugs where volumes are lower, you may have to pay even the higher prices. So that definitely will be the scenario. But by and large, for a large part of the current financial year, we have good amount of contracts which will keep the cost low.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jitesh Rathod from Pon India Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I think you have answered this question in bits in previous participants' question. But still, current EBITDA margins are somewhere around 20%. You are guiding to 25%. There are headwinds such as sales and marketing costs normalizing in second half of FY22. what are the tailwinds you have assumed to achieve that, to bridge that gap of 500 basis points from the current quarter margin?
You have seen that overall our gross margin levels in last financial year have also moved up, and we are continuously improving overall our material cost to sales ratio. And also your overall product mix improvement is there. And also there is the better realizations are there also on account of your currencies compared to overall. So these are factors which are there, which are helping in overall in margins.
Okay. And maybe second
improvement is continuously there.
Okay. And second question on the API capacity addition, which will come in FY23, like it will start ramping up. What kind of growth you will see post FY22 in API business on a normalized basis? Would it be a 10-12% kind of a growth number, or would it be 15-20% kind of a growth?
Once the plants are commercialized, then we will like to give the guidelines. May not be upfront, because today I give you guidelines and then if there are some delays and some exceptional or third waves comes in, we really don't know today. So I will not like to give the guidelines before my capacities are put in place. So once capacities are put in place, we will definitely give the guidelines on that.
And what will be the capacity addition to the existing API capacity, both Dewas and the other one, in the plant?
Dewas plant will have a capacity of almost around 300 tons of overall productions, and Ratlam, what we are currently doing, will also add to around 150 tons of overall API production.
So that would be what percentage to the base number?
Maybe around the 10 to 15% capacity additions would be there, depending on production.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ranveer Singh from Sunidhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. So just on margin front, you have already explained, but just I wanted to clarify. In case, assuming that exceptional revenue which we got on, through from HCQS, if you remove this part, then what would have been EBITDA margin in FY21?
See, those kind of businesses came with significant margins also, and that's why our overall margin in the current year is almost around 29%. We are guiding is 25% margin, which also has some kind of improvement. So overall, and our beginning of the year, if you see, we were guiding for around 1.5% increase only from 22 5% kind of EBITDA. We were talking of around 1.5% improvement. As against that, your overall improvement has been significant in the current year, also because of the factors of additional business what we did in current year. And from that level, we are guiding around 25% kind of margin improvement, which also includes overall improvements in overall margin. So everything of that is taken into account.
Okay, because even so you are saying 150 kind of improvement from base margin, excluding the exceptional margin. That's what I should take.
The current year we are not taking 150% kind of base margin improvement, because a lot of those costs which are relating to R&D, which are relating to marketing, will come back. So we have only factored around, say on a normalized margin, around 0.5% improvement in current year.
Because on 365 crore exceptional income, or the income from that HCQS, even we take a highest range of margin 60% or 50% of margin if you assume, still we get some 27% kind of EBITDA margin or 26.5% in FY21. That's why I was wondering that whether on exceptional or the revenue from HCQS has got more than this.
Your voice is breaking, sir.
Some of the businesses, what we did last year was even at much higher than margin than what you were talking about, and so because of that only this overall EBITDA has moved to 29% kind of thing.
Sure.
All our guidance was only around 1.5% kind of improvement, which has improved little better because of your expenditure side, it was much lower on marketing side. But then your domestic business also did not happen.
Okay. And just another one. Can you give a breakup of geography-wise breakup of revenue?
Domestic business, we did almost around 1,982 crores of sales. Promotional market around 403 crore in the year. So domestic business has 4% growth overall for the year. Promotional market has 6% growth for the whole of the year. As far as generic businesses are concerned, we did almost around 804 crore as against 560 crore in last year. So around 22% kind of growth. Institutional business from 176 crore, it became almost around 385 crore. And overall formulation export business was around 1,597 crore as against 1,222 crore last financial year. So around 31% growth was there in the export formulation business growth overall. And on API side, the domestic API has moved up significantly also because of that 137 crore sales one-time business what we did. And that business growth is almost around from 250 crore to around 386 crore. But that includes 137 crore of the exceptional one-time business. And your export API business from 922 crore, it has moved to around 1,120 crore. So almost around 21% growth on that overall. And if you look at the quarter number, your domestic formulation business is around 434 crores overall, and promotional market business is around 101 crore from 76 crore in last financial year. Generics, by and large, if you look at, is around 159 crore as against 164 crore last year. So there is a decline of around 3% there. Institutional business is 76 crore as against 40 crore last year. So around 92% overall growth. And overall export formulation business is around 338 crore as against 282 crore last year. So around 20% kind of growth. And overall formulation business growth is around 8% to 771 crore as against 713 crore last year. That's the overall breakup.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prakash Agarwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks,
my
Prakash.
first question. Yeah, hello, sir. Sir, on the raw material prices, we've been hearing on some calls that the prices have gone up. So what is our, on-ground check? Are we feeling the same, and what's the gross margin outlook?
I will give you the prices trend on various business segments. Overall in, let's say, formulation side, whatever API we procure, except paracetamol and except one or two small API, we didn't pay any kind of much higher prices. And also you will notice that we have good amount of integration, and therefore our formulations side, the prices are not moving up except paracetamol or some or one or two other small products. As far as intermediates are concerned, like say your anti-malarial, that artemisinin prices have significantly moved up in market, but our more or less procurements has remained at a lower price, which I have already talked to you earlier. Another big impact comes from another drug called lumefantrine. There your intermediate prices have moved up, but we had a kind of mix of that. Somewhere we have paid higher price, somewhere lower contracts were also there. So that's a mix of it. As far as other intermediate like say metformin and some of your chloroquine kind of intermediates and furosemide intermediate, there the price increase has been in the range of around 15 to 18% kind of those prices increase has happened in the first last quarter of the financial year. So there some of the higher prices are paid. As far as solvents are concerned, by and large, if you look at, it's around 18 to 30% kind of prices rise has been there in solvents like But some of the solvent prices has not moved up, like say IPA prices just moved by 2%, which we use. But methanol prices has moved up by almost around 45%. Toluene prices have moved by 20%. Methylene chloride prices moved by almost around 23%. So significant movements were there. But overall, their consumptions may not be even 5% of overall API cost side. So that overall doesn't have much of impact. As far as packing materials are concerned, we have seen significant rise in prices because of commodity prices has gone up. If you look at aluminum foil, by and large from 15 to 26% kind of price rise we have seen. On plastic side, 12% to 30% price. Resin prices we have seen kind of 12% to 30% kind of rise on resin side. On paper side, if you look at from 5% to almost around 17-18% on different kind of paper. Recycled paper has gone up by almost around 19%. Kraft paper has gone up by around 18-19%. But your other papers has not moved up that much, or your FBB board which used for show boxes, which has a large consumption, has just moved by 6%. So, and as far as glass is concerned, there is almost around, because of LPG prices going up and oxygen going up, those prices increase was also very significant. So I have given you segment-wise price increases.
But you expect to absorb or pass on to the customer and your gross margin outlook, sir?
Gross margin outlook we have already given, yeah. That on gross margin side, yeah.
Okay. And second question, sir, on the the various acquisition we done on the API side, Pisgah, Bayshore, Ramdev, we in 2 to 3 years back. So we have talked about synergy benefits which would play out in next 2-3 years when we acquired it. So where we are in the overall journey, and when do we see the scale up on these 3 assets?
See, Bayshore has started giving profits in the current year. Right? It's the front end kind of thing for us, and that ramp up of that Bayshore will happen only when your IPCA get qualified and FDA issues are clear, because that's going to promote our by and large this will be front end for the US business. So till such time they are only doing the trading, small trading with which doesn't have large percentage of profit. But they have still given almost around 5.5 crore profit on 164 crore sales in the current financial year. Last year they were in loss around 155 crore and 13-14 crore kind of loss was there. Second, the company what is your Onyx Pharmaceuticals in UK. That business growth is very strong. They get EBITDA margins of more than 30%, and at PAT level they contributed almost around 23 crore of PAT on almost around 97 crore of business. So that's the another company. Ramdev, a lot of restructurings are getting done. We are doing some kind of validation there, and therefore capacity utilization was also lower. And there were a lot of intermediate sales was happening from there, which we don't foresee to be our strategic. So we are discontinuing those kind of products which were contributing around 30 crore of business. So their sales has in the current year has come down, but they will bounce back. And they have contributed around 8 crore of loss on Ramdev side. As far as another associate side is concerned, we have a company called Tropic Wellness, where we have now increased our stake to around 40% in the company. And they are a nutraceutical marketing company. They have done a business from 85 crore last year to around 103 crore in current year. And their PAT has improved from 15.5 crore to almost around 22 crore in current financial year. And there is another company called Krebs, which is at Vizag and Nellore. Their operations has resulted in losses, but we are continuously working to improve that. A lot of processes are getting improved. Capacity utilizations are an issue there. So that's what some kind of new product introductions and all are planned. Hopefully Krebs will also start performing and hopefully the losses will come down significantly in current year. And thereafter it can turn in profits. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And one more, if I may, on the other expenses side, sir, I mean, percentage to sales is higher. I understand sales in Q4 is lower, but is there any one-offs in other expenses?
if you look at our overall expenditure side, more or less it's around 275 crore or so, 275 to 300 crore. In current year also, expenditure side is more or less on that line, except that around 13 crore we have provided for impairment on scraps in current year. So to that extent it is higher. And also there is a higher expenditure on some kind of repairs and maintenance side. Almost this quarter we had paid almost around 9 to 10 crore higher compared to the normal, which is a very abnormal cost. Is largely because a lot of those kind of costs which was getting postponed has happened in because of COVID scenarios and contractors not available. A lot of other issues were being faced in the current year. So a lot of those kind of work has happened in the last financial year, last quarter of financial year. So that cost is higher. You can consider that's an abnormal, but that's a normal cost. Otherwise, it would have come in all the quarters otherwise. So that's not a cost which can be postponed, or it's not a abnormal cost. But abnormal is there for only for this quarter. And overall, if you look at last year, the expenditure base was very low. So because of that, you are seeing that overall there is a significant increase in other expenses. But when you compare it with the other quarters of the year, then you don't find that that's exceptional, except these two costs I have talked about, that's higher. And another cost which has moved up significantly is your freight. Sea freights are practically double. Air freight somewhere has gone up to 3 to 5 times to 10 times now. And that cost we must have paid in even in fourth quarter, where overall exports are little lower. Also, we have paid almost around 5 crore additional cost. So the freight costs are significantly higher at current time.
13 crore impairment is for this quarter or for the year, sir?
This quarter we have provided 13 crore impairment.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sameer Bhise from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you. Sameer Baisiwala. Sir, maybe you covered this or maybe I missed it. I don't know. So if I look at your fourth quarter sales, every single segment, you got 6, 7 of those, have shown a meaningful quarter-on-quarter decline. Why is that so?
The business segment there are 3 segments where we have seen the decline. One is your anti-malarials where it has declined. Another is your cough and cold has declined, and antibacterials has declined in the current financial year. These 3 segments has declined. This by and large the effect of COVID in the current financial year. Cough and cold, nobody was going to the doctors, but the scenario is absolutely reversed in the first quarter current financial year. And the malaria incidences were low. But all other segments, even in the first quarter, derma, Europe, CNS, those segments were declining, but they have seen a very good recovery and good growth has given in the second half of the current financial year. So some of the let's say pain has done overall, let's say almost like say the division which is promoting Zerodol has almost around 18% growth they have reported. So it's a mix of everything is also because of the abnormal situation because of COVID.
So fair enough. So I think you are breaking down the domestic branded business in different segments. Referring to overall business composition, which is exports, branded institutional generics, API domestic exports, all of them have shown a very meaningful decline, a quarter-on-quarter decline. That is what is a bit surprising to me.
Let's say if you look at the Q4 projections, which the numbers which I have given, overall promotional business has grown by almost around 32% in the current year. Yes, generic business has declined except your institutional business, which has grown by almost around 92 crores, 92% on that. So overall formulation business in exports is around 20% kind of growth. And
sir, I'm just referring to the fourth quarter. So fourth, not full year, sir. Third quarter.
Fourth quarter I'm talking. Fourth quarter number I'm talking.
Yeah, institution has come down from 138 to 76 crores. It has not grown 96%, no?
From 39 to, we don't see from your sequential basis. We don't see on quarter to quarter. We see on last year versus every quarter is different, and demands of drugs are also different according to seasonalities and others. So what works in IT doesn't work in pharma that way.
Okay, sir. Okay, no, that's fine, sir. So the second question I have is, I think the industry made some representation to the government for better pricing for domestic formulation I'm referring to. Any update on that? I think for non-NLEM to give for this year, higher price more than a 10% limit that the government has set.
It's all discussion stage there. There are no commitment has come. Even the paracetamol, what formulations currently we are selling is at a huge loss. From price from 300 has moved to almost around 900. So nobody in the industry is making money on that. It's being sold at a huge loss, and you can't. In fact, the business is also higher because the COVID demand is so much on paracetamol. So industry is still continuously selling, and nobody is stopping that kind of business because there are losses. But yes, there are proposals with the government, and normally government at COVID time and when that crisis time, they normally don't consider price increase. But maybe when situations are little stabilized, the government may look into it, some kind of industry demand on that.
So one final one, if I may, and that is for 3 sites with import alert. So I'm just wondering, because these observations are 2-3 years or maybe more old, and the remediation work is also. So is there any concept of obsolescence? When FDA comes, whenever it does, that these things have expired, and the story becomes unfortunately all over again, or it's not like that.
No, it's not like that. And as a practice, we are also getting our plants continuously audited by international agencies. Even current year also we have got it audited. So that processes are robust processes are in place. So we are not worried on that account.
Okay, so good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amar Maurya from Alpha Accurate Advisor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So thanks a lot for the opportunity. Sir, just wanted to understand, if I reduce the one-off revenue and one-off margin, is it like on the yearly basis our margin would be around 20%?
No, it would be higher, much higher. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, because as you indicated that 365 crores kind of a revenue would have a margin probably higher than 65 to 70%. So
gross margin.
Achha, gross margin. Okay. So EBITDA would be what, sir? 20%?
No, somewhere more. Yeah. Somewhere very high. Somewhere range of 25%. Somewhere very, very high.
Okay. So basically around 23% kind of the base margin you would be?
A little higher than that.
Okay. So basically on 23 and a half, we are talking about 150 basis point margin expansion in the financial year 22. Is that fair to assume?
We have projected around 0.5% kind of, so it's around 24 and a half, that kind of level, and 0.5% improvement in current year. Yeah.
Okay. And secondly, sir, what would be our overall capacity in API today? And if you can indicate, like you had highlighted, but if you can indicate what is the expansion we are doing on the overall capacity in next 2 years?
Overall capacity, that's a very difficult thing to talk about, because some product may have 20 steps, some product may have 2 stage, 3 stage, or if you produce larger amount of metformin volume, it would be your capacities are very, very, because it's a very, very batch sizes and overall production numbers are very high. Tonnage is very high. So But broadly, if you look at, we are currently at almost around 90% kind of capacity utilization. That's what, and some kind of capacity we keep on creating by incremental work throughout the year, and because of that, we are able to do overall increase the business in API side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Sharma from Karvy Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, what is the perspective on the different regions across export markets where we have performed in the year, like Europe, CIS, Africa, and others?
Rahul, yes. In this financial year, that is FY21, EU there is a growth of 31%. Australia and New Zealand there is a growth of 18%.
The numbers could you give?
EU is 419 crore versus last year 319 crore. So 100 crore growth. Australia and New Zealand 151 versus 178, 18% growth. And this year there was also some US sales of HCQS in the beginning of the year, about 21 crore. Last year it was not there. And Canada from 78 crore to 105 crore, that is 34% growth. And there is a decline in South Africa business from 110 to 80 crore. 30 crore decline is there. It is a tender business basically. So, total generic from 660 crore, we have done 804 crore, that is 22% growth.
So 78 crores to what decline, which region was that?
South Africa from 111 crore to 80 crore.
So before that, 78 crores to something?
78 crore is last year was USA, Canada put together, which has become 127 crore this year. But this 127 crore also include 21 crore of US HCQS business, which was not there in the previous financial year.
And CIS, sir, how much is CIS, sir?
CIS is more or less flat, 167 versus 164. So in some continent, because of this COVID situation, the sales got impacted.
Okay, sir. So another thing was, how is R&D shaped for the year, sir?
There is a slight 0.5% incremental expenditure as a percentage of sales in the R&D cost this year.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sayan Mukherjee from Nomura. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks and good afternoon. Sir, on the margin, EBITDA margin guidance that you're giving, so now we have a new base. So when we think about next 3-4 years, and I think you mentioned that there can be improvement on this base. So what kind of numbers do you think the margins would stabilize as your capacity utilization?
If you see our audited financial results, in FY20 we had a margin of about 22.5%. And in the beginning of the year, we gave a guidance of 150 basis point improvement in the margin. Correct? Which is that our margin ended up at 29% because of some additional business in HCQS and CQP. Okay. So excluding those additional business and its margin, on a standardized basis, maybe this year we did a EBITDA margin of about 24.5% versus 22.5%, which was there in FY20. So about 150-200 basis point improvement in the margin, which was the guidance what we gave. Okay, and this margin is at the back of decrease in our marketing expenses by about 90 crore. Similarly, we also lost business. Okay, this year the marketing cost will come back. Our domestic business will improve. So that will get offset. And on a EBITDA margin level, we are guiding about 25% EBITDA for the current financial year. So going forward, our guidance remains same, 12-13% top line growth from the next financial year onwards. and about 100-150 basis point improvement in the EBITDA margin.
Okay. Okay.
And this has been our guidance for last 4 years. We have not deviated from anything.
Got it.
This year there is an improvement in margin mainly because of this extra sales in SCQF, and they came with a very, very good margin.
Okay.
And certain reduction in the marketing cost.
And so the marketing cost in the fourth quarter, so you said 90 crore for the full year.
Yeah.
So how much is the fourth quarter? Like how much?
Fourth quarter, more or less, everything was back on track. Perhaps except for last maybe week of March because of lockdown coming in again.
Okay, understood.
But most of that cost will get spent in the current financial year. We don't foresee there is any reduction in those costs. But we will also see good growth in the domestic branded business sales.
True. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah, apart from whatever questions asked and answers given, we have nothing more to add. Only thing we reiterate our guidance for the current financial year, top line will grow by about 9-10%, and we are confident of achieving about 25% EBITDA margin for FY22. With this, we close this session. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of DAM Capital Advisors Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. Bye.
Bye, sir.